Jason here, Clear Creek Farm. Today we are up here in Kingsley, Michigan at Lucky Farms picking up our does that's been up here for about a month breeding to G-Wagon. This big old dude right here. So Brooke's gonna talk a little bit about the does that we brought up here and why we decided to bring them up here to him.
Okay, so first we're going to start with Mr. G here. He is a Can't Drive 55 son, and his dam is West Falls Junebug, and Junebug was sired by Ray-Ban. So he's got some good genetics behind him. So we're going to go ahead and grab a doe. Oh, yep. Yeah, sweet treat first. She was born in our house. Her mama hailed directly from Don Smith. Her grandsire was quarter horse. So she's got some old school genetics in her, which is why I wanted to bring her, kind of pair her with the new stuff. Plus, she's also long-bodied and feminine, which I think will cross well with him. We'll go ahead and put her in the trailer. So now we have Midnight. She's our special girl. She's older. She was born in December of 14, but she's a direct dark mark daughter, which kind of makes her unique because they are very hard to find. I wanted her to be bred to him because she is feminine. She's got that really nice, pretty neck and head, and she also needs to be widened out, and he will obviously do that to her. So we are hoping for some really good babies out of this cross. And as you can see, she's not a small doe. This one we have Snowflake. She is a beast mode daughter out of an Abel Acres doe. I can't remember the name. I think it's Bad Mama Jamma, I think. That might not be correct, but I know it's an Abel Acres doe. And she, I think, will cross well with him because, again, she's got a nice feminine head on her. And she also needs to be widened out in her frame. And she also carries some really nice meat in the back. Oh, these are all things what we're doing to improve our program, to make better kids, to improve these does. And that's your goal mainly, is you want your does to make better kids than themselves. Fourth and final one is a Pretty in Control. Her mama was our Miracle doe, whose mama was Pinky, whose mama was out of all Farmer Stock Exchange stuff. Her sire is Cruise Control from Chris and Marie Anderson, whose sire was Copper Still. So she's got different genetics in there. Royal Colors is also in her immediate genetics. But she has got a very feminine head, and she needs her big thing is she needs butt. She doesn't have much on her butt, and he does. So I kind of wanted to cross her with a buck that had some really nice meat on his butt, and I really think that this will accomplish it. But she's got the nice blown out front end that I kind of wanted to keep. So those are the 4 does that we brought up here. Took these goats up to the friend of ours, to get bred, and you saw the buck already. And I kind of elaborated on why we took them up there. I mean, different genetics is part of it, and I explained each doe to you. But there's a little bit more. I kind of wanted to get a little more in depth and with the explanation as to why we took these particular 4 does up there. Why not other does in our herd? Why these 4? I actually did not look at genetics when I picked these does. That really does not affect my decision making when I pair a doe and a buck up. I look at other things. The first thing I do is I look for faults. I look at the doe's faults and I look at the buck's faults. And then I look at the strengths of each animal. And I combine them. So will his strengths fix her faults? And will her strengths fix his faults? So you can kind of mesh them together. If the buck is short-bodied, he should be paired with a longer-bodied doe. If the buck is super long-bodied, he should probably be paired up with smaller does. So that way you get a good package on the kids. The whole goal, the whole reason why we do this is not to just get babies. If you're breeding your goats just to get babies, you're doing it all wrong. You're not going to get to your goals. You're not going to get where you want to go if that's your objective, is to simply get babies. We want to see kids that are better than their parents, at least the dam. The babies should be better than the dam no matter what. And if they're not, they need to be shipped down the road. I personally do not keep kids that are either as good or worse than the mom, because that's not what I'm here for. I'm here to make sure I improve my stock every year, and I think we have done a very good job of that. Not every kid we have has been stellar, but we've gotten progressively better every year, climb a rung of the ladder every year in terms of quality, and that is my goal. So like I said before, if you are simply out there breeding goats to get goats, if you're breeding a dapple to get a dapple with absolutely no thought of conformation or quality in there, you're not going to go anywhere. Even if you have traditionals and you're just breeding them to breed them to get babies, you're not going to get anywhere. You have to look at each animal's different qualities, different strengths and weaknesses, and pair them up accordingly. So I have Midnight here. She was one of the ones we took up there. And I want to tell you, in her particular instance, why I took her to breed to G, okay? Now, I'll start with her strengths. Obviously, the first one is very obvious, her size. She's a very big doe. She's the biggest doe we have on the farm. She probably weighs 300 pounds. She's not small. So that's a big strength of hers. I mean, my goal is to get kids out of her that are her exact same size. It's worked sometimes and other times it hasn't. I have a paint daughter in there who's almost her same size, but is wider than her and is bigger boned than her, and that's what I wanted. Another strength of hers is her face. I don't know if she'll hold it still for you. I don't want to grab her horns because then she's going to get pissy. But you can see her head on the profile, how she's got that beautiful Roman nose, and her horns curve up in like a perfect moon shape, and she's got this gorgeous neck and shoulder attachment with a great long snake neck. So her head and her neck and her shoulder attachment is one of her absolute best strengths. And that is what I want to continue to see in her kids. Her length is also a strength. You can see how long she is. She's an extremely long doe. I also want to point out that this doe is, she's at least 6 or 7 years old, and you can see how great she looks. We still have her mom, who was born in 2011. If that gives you any indication of the longevity genetics that she carries. her line, her mama, her, and their daughters and granddaughters are saturated in this herd, and I am actually extremely proud of that because they live forever. They live a long time, and they hardly ever get sick. They have amazing feet, amazing udders. So those are all things that I look for in a doe. Now I'll get to her faults. Her faults is she's kind of narrow body. You can see from her front here that she's a little narrow in the front end. I want to widen her out. I want to widen her skeletal base out a little bit. This chest floor here, sorry, man. This chest floor here needs to be wider and maybe a little tighter because it's kind of flabby. Another thing that I want to improve on her and why I took her up to G is she needs more bone. She's a little light on the bone, and I think, and he has tremendous bone. I know you saw it in the video, and I think he will improve that as well. And her rear end is also the same way. It's a little narrow, which I would really want to widen that out. So basically, my main reason for taking her up there is just to widen out her skeletal frame. I think if we can get kids out of her, another set of kids out of her with that wide frame base, her length, her pretty head and neck, and his bone, I think we can have a heck of a pairing. So like I said, make sure you have goals, even if you have to write them down. Write down your goals, what you want. Go out and evaluate your animals, and don't put your barn blinders on. Go out there and be realistic. Go out there and be truthful to your animals and look at them without rose-colored glasses on, so you can actually see their faults, because that's the biggest part. Is you need to find their faults first, and then find their strengths. And then when you do that and you pair them up accordingly to who's going to mesh best with who according to conformation styles, then you're going to get yourself a winner.
So with all that said, it's just thank you guys for coming along. If you like what we're doing, please hit the subscribe button, share our videos. We're trying to improve things all the time, working on things to make the industry better, make our animals better. Thank you for coming along, and see you on the next video.